What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And this one I'm going to be continuing to show you how to make the new Playtime exterior. This is part 2, and in this one we're going to be getting the little front white section here, this curved one in, along with getting pretty much the entire lower left side done and the castle spires here marked out. And yeah, that is really all. So with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alright, so I kind of want to stay centralized for as long as we can with, well, I say centralized and we have half the front done, but I would like to kind of just build out, or build up what we have, and then just kind of start working around and back and whatever. So I think to start off, I want to maybe do the middle section now. I know that I said I wanted the arches, but I do like being hypocritical sometimes, and it doesn't really go that much further, so we can kind of square off whatever we don't have a specific thing for. But you want to start off by getting out the following. Yellow terracotta will definitely be helpful. Smooth quartz blocks. Cyan concrete. Warp slabs. Warped planks, warp stairs, maybe, gray concrete, maybe, and black concrete, also a maybe. It depends on if we end up going, depends on how much time we end up using, because I want to do this section, I want to go across and do the arches there, but it depends if we have time for that. So I'm gonna suggest taking the cyan E's on either side and bringing them back to the point of this yellow terracotta. Now, before we actually do that, though, I want to get the basis of how far the yellow should actually go. So, on the left side here, we obviously have it, the point that is the corner. Where the, dome kind of cuts off, if you take this row here on the back, I'm going to bring the yellow terracotta below it back to that point. And usually it'll be just right there. What is that, 5 back? Yeah, 5 yellow terracotta back. And everything to the right of this I'm going to bring back. You technically don't need it under, but I'm just doing it under so we have kind of a better understanding as to where the smooth quartz exactly sits. But anyway, from that point, you're going to bring whatever rows of the cyan, E sections back to this point you need, along with maybe yellow terracotta down, at least on the right side you have this row. But yeah, you just want to end up bringing it all back to this point. There might be roofs or glass roofs on these. I couldn't tell. It's one of those things where you look at it and it's like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I already had it cyan by that point and I was not bothered to change all of it. Same with the yellow curved bits on the side over here, which I do have windows on. Again, it's kind of hard to tell, but that's also a choice you can make for the inside, and just, it wouldn't really be crazy. You just replace the, maybe the row of 5 here at the top, along with the rows of 2 on the going down with glass. I wouldn't even necessarily frame it, except for potentially on the inside, but that also depends on what you do. I ended up not because of these sections as well here, these, hallways. That would just add an entire other layer to it that we don't really need, because I was like, okay, well, if you can see those, then surely there's not a window, but... Or if those have, ceilings, I guess. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night anyway. I am, for the most part. A recording moment. Yup. It's always interesting to record back-to-back. I'm considering going for 3. I don't need to. There's no reason for me to go for 3. I just kind of feel like it, It's just one of those days where it's like, if I spend the entire day recording, who's gonna stop me? But also, if I'm going longer with these parts, I feel like recording less makes more sense instead of recording the same amount, which is what I'm doing right now. But, yeah. I don't want to think that far. Even though I have to, I guess. I'd say that's besides the point, but I don't really know. What is the point either way? But yeah. It's kind of like the big thing that has been looming for me. Obviously, there's still the... What's it called? I don't know what it's called. I forgot. That's good. Forgot what I was saying entirely. You should have this. Nice. Now, the terracotta will end up getting brought back later. But it doesn't really matter. But anyway, yeah, it should look like this from above. You can... If you take the left side here of the yellow, behind the yellow, actually we're going to go behind this furthest right cyan concrete, you're going to place a smooth quartz block up diagonally back by 1. You're then just going to follow the shape of the yellow. So you're going to go right, and then back, and then right again. And you're going to stop once you hit the first cyan here as well. I'm going to extend each smooth quartz up by 4. And I would bring all of it up, even though some of it is behind that dome, because it'll just help us, again, keep the shape and make sure we have it right. Obviously, we just have this corner to use, but, whatever. What was I saying? I forgot already. Yeah, like, obviously I have still Secret Neighbor and stuff, but, like, this was the big one that I was like, I know a lot of people are wondering when this is happening, so, I might as well start it. Anyway, so, if you're looking at the left side here, you want to take the far right row of smooth quartz that's visible. It's this little row of 2 right here. You can see it, this little guy. Above it, you want to place a cyan concrete. Extend it left by 2. Then go up diagonally left 1. Left 1. Up diagonally left 1. Up 1. Up diagonally left 1. Up 2. Up diagonally right 1. Up 1. Up diagonally right 1, right 1. Up diagonally right 1, right 2. Down diagonally right 1, right 1. Hopefully you should get the point at this point. Down diagonally right 1, down. Down diagonally right. Down 2. Down diagonally left. Down. Down diagonally left and down. Oh yeah, I remember what we would need. Get out black concrete powder. So, in the bottom left-hand corner, you have these 2 rows of 2 here. It's like a very sharp corner we have. You're going to place a black concrete powder in, like so. You're obviously going to have to place blocks under it, so just place black concrete as you do this, but you want to go up diagonally right from that by 3, and again, just make sure you have underlying concretes. Above each of those 4 concrete powders, you're going to place a black concrete and then a concrete powder again. And then you're going to do the same with the left 3 one more time, just leaving the right one kind of open. And then you'll fill this in with black concrete. When I textured this, or when I made this originally, I actually started with warped instead of cyan, but I'm using cyan here because I forgot, and I just remembered. Either way, you want to bring that cyan out a row. If you want to change it to warped here, you can, but it doesn't actually matter that much, because you're going to texture them fairly the same. Like, it doesn't actually look like it was originally cyan for me. But you should have this. That looks really weird. So, ignoring any of that, you can, on top of the, like, row of 3 cyan at the top here, you're going to place 3 smooth quartz on top of the back row. Extend the smooth quartzes right by, I believe it's 6. It's either 6 or 7. Yeah, it's 6. And then you can kind of just bring this whole side down. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in this portion of the wall. So like right side. And then we can do the archway, or the, I guess, roof shape. Not really archway. It should look like this. What you can do is you can place a cyan concrete on the top right smooth quartz and bring it forward diagonally right by 2. You then want to extend that front one to the left by 10. Then go down diagonally left. Left 3. Down diagonally left. Left. Down diagonally left. Left. Down diagonally left by 3. Down 1. Down diagonally left. Down, and then down diagonally left. There'll be a roof that sits in line with that, so. You're going to then go left 1. Up 1, and we're going to work back around just so we have the shape better this way. You'll go up diagonally right, up diagonally right, up diagonally right by 4, right, up diagonally right, right 2, up diagonally right, right by 5, up diagonally right, and then it should be right by 7, and you'll connect back down, and just fill in whatever little cyan you have there with cyan in the center. I'm gonna bring most of that entire thing back a row. Really, you don't need the middle, so I'm just gonna go the, like, bottom edge and top edge, I guess, along with the, like, you know, outer edge here and stuff. Just so it's a little bit better for this next step to work with, so it'll actually kind of connect properly. But yeah, it should just be 2 rows thick now, like so. You can take... Honestly, just go as far as you want here. It doesn't necessarily matter to the left, but I'm gonna go the... third last row here, this row of cyan, I'm going to bring it down with smooth quartz, and then just everything right of this will be smooth quartz. Actually, you have to be back a row as well, so you want to make sure you don't end up lining up with anything. Like, you're going to be back from, ironically, both cyans, because they line up. But yeah, this is as far as you need to go. You can go all the way to the end if you want, just to kind of give you, I guess, more to work with later to build off of. But it's up to you. And yeah, just fill in this whole left side with smooth quartz. And then we have another side. Yippee. This was... The curves on, like, these areas, for some reason, were a lot harder on this one, I feel like, than the original. I don't know if it was because of just, like, timing of things, but... I felt like I struggled to make these a lot more. Anyway, you should have this. It looks weird, I think, without the other one. That's strange. I, like, never would have thought that. Either way. You can take the... We're going to go the bottom edge of cyan here, yeah, on the far right. And you should have 2 blocks right now here. You want to extend back by 4. And then from there, you want to extend right by 11. Oh, I don't know what just happened. Okay, that is 11. You're then going to go down diagonally right 1. Right 3. Down diagonally right. Right, then down diagonally right by 3, down diagonally right, down 2, down diagonally right, down, then down diagonally right by 2, then right 1, down diagonally right, right 2, and then we'll start working back. So we're going to go up, left, up diagonally left, left, up diagonally left 2, up diagonally left, up 2, up diagonally left, up diagonally left by 3, left, up diagonally left, left, up diagonally left, left by 5, up diagonally left, left by 8, and then you should just be able to connect forward from there. And again, you're going to fill in the center of this with cyan concrete. And yeah, I think this will look a little bit better once we have this side done as well, because that looked really weird having just the one. Yeah, that already feels better. Again, I would advise bringing all of the cyan here just back a row, and I'm actually going to end up, as I do this, kind of bring it... I'm going to bring it back on the, like, left as well, just essentially making the whole thing 2 blocks thick, including the little portion where it goes back. And, yeah. But again, you don't technically need to fill in the center at the back, because who's gonna see anyway? And I guess I'll go the top 2 thick there as well. So, yet again, from this point, you're just kind of filling it in with smooth quartz. Now, if we head to the far right, we actually have a number this time. So, if you take the far right here, you want to take this first row, this furthest right row of smooth quartz. And if you're on this back right one, you'll count left by 1 and go back diagonally down with a smooth quartz. You need to bring it down by 4. And then from there, you'll kind of just connect into the cyan to the left with smooth quartz. And this whole area you'll fill in. You're essentially, and again, you can kind of just make sure you see I'm lined up there, and I'll just bring the smooth quartz left, and I'll fill in this entire area. You should probably also fill in this portion, this little, like, part where it goes back with quartz, just because There's no reason to not. And I guess you can do the corner, but you don't have to. But it's like optional. But I'm gonna fill it in because I can. And yeah, nothing really crazy going on with this part particularly. Other than the obvious texturing later. And I guess there's the P on top, but we're not worried about that just yet. And we won't bring this back because there's really no point in bringing it back until we have, like, most of the front done. Because I don't want to start working back until we know everything is good on the front, like, proportion, I guess, shape-wise. You do need a lot of space to the right, by the way. I apologize, I entirely forgot to, like, mention space. You need more than I have on the tiles down there. Do ignore that, by the way. That was for me to get this, like, import this build properly. But yeah, you definitely need a lot more space to the right. We're already pretty much to the left side. I mean, you need, like, maybe 15 more blocks at most. But yeah, right, you probably need, like 200? I don't know, probably not that many. And yeah, it should look like this. It still looks weird for some reason to me. I don't know why, but either way, yeah, you should have that. It might be because the section, yeah, just so, like, bland without anything on the left. So let's change that, shall we? If you take the left side, and out of the, like, 5 cyan here on the top of these little curved bits, you're going to take the left, or I guess the middle one and count left by 1. And from it, you want to go out with 10 yellow terracotta. You then want to go forward diagonally left. Forward. Forward diagonally left. Left. Forward diagonally left. And left by 11. Just like that. Extend that yellow up with 2 rows. It is funny comparing the two. I like looked at them both back to back on a day and I was like, good lord, the difference is kind of ridiculous. Both size and just detail wise. You then... Okay, so if you take the, like, furthest left row of yellow terracotta, you can actually go down diagonally forward with a warped plank and extend this warped plank forward, and it should connect into this roof like so. You then should be able to get rid of your black concrete powder and get out terracotta, and you can bring these 2 rows of terracotta just back until they're essentially, like, just before the yellow. You'll be in line with that last warped over there, I guess. And yeah, you can kind of see where that works. You can bring the roof here back on the right until you're in line with the final terracotta. Slabs, planks, whatever. And then I'm also going to fill in this particular portion in with warped planks. I'm not going to fill any further yet because there's really no point, but I do want to get this done at least. A lot of this is grindy stuff as well. You'll find later, like, excluding texturing. There's a lot coming up, I think probably in this part that's going to be, like, a grind to do. Anyway, you have, like, a little triangle here. You'll just bring the yellow terracotta down to fill in everything. Make sure you do get this little gap as well. This is one I think I might have missed at some point. But you want to make sure everything is filled in. Because that is something you're not going to ever probably notice if you miss. Like, that'll go unseen. Anyway, to the left of this yellow terracotta row, you want to place a row of 3 smooth quartz. Ow, that was weird. You'll take that row of smooth quartz and extend it forward by 5. So it should stick 5 forward in total from the yellow, which is the number we placed. You'll also be 1 row in front of the basalt on those guys right there. From the bottom smooth quartz, you want to go left with 2 black concrete, 5 smooth quartz, 2 black concrete, 5 quartz, and you honestly just want to keep that pattern going of the 2s and 5s until you have, check it, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the black concrete rows, and then you'll stop after that 5th one. I recommend not messing this one up. I messed up the red ones, and I didn't realize until later. I didn't mess up how I said it, I just messed up how I did it for some reason, so... Yeah, try not to do that. You will go further, by the way, than the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'll go further than the arches that we have. There'll be one more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 black concrete rows. And that is correct. Nice. Unfortunately, we can't just copy that row one more time. You can bring each black concrete up by one. We can start with that. But yeah, the smooth quartz legitimately does not go higher than this. In some spots. Also, what might be smart to do is off of this final black concrete, you can take the bottom row and extend it left with 4 smooth quartz. And just for funnies, that final smooth quartz you will bring back by 4 as well. Now, again, it's the same kind of thing. I believe, yeah, these arches should be the same. If you take the bottom row of black concrete, though, you take the bottom left-hand corner, you want to count left by 4 and place an upside-down warp slab off of this smooth quartz. Or alternatively, you take the bottom right and count right by 2 and place an upside-down warp slab there. And it'll just be pretty much on every one that you can, because you'll notice if you try to place one on the second block to the right of the final one, you can't. But yeah. You should have this. There will be one on the final thing as well. And this is the same roof, so I'm going to take just one individually and tell you the whole thing. I'll bring this upside down warp slab up with a warp slab. Right with a plank. Up with a slab. Right with a plank. Up with a slab again. Right with a plank. Right with 2 upside down slabs. Place a slab on top of each, and then place a plank to the right of the final slab. I would be checking, because again, of the mistake I made, I would check this warp plank and just trace that final one down and make sure you're on the smooth quartz to the left of this next upside down warp slab, and then you can continue the pattern. Slab on top, plank, slab, plank, whatever. And yeah, you're gonna get used to these, probably. Or hopefully you should get used to these, because we have to do them again. I think there's only one more time. There might be another time that I'm just missing, but I don't think that there is. I mean, I could always be wrong. And I have to think about this for some reason. Even though I've already, you know, made this thing once. Okay, that did not... That's not how that works, but thanks anyway, game. And I think one more. Oh no, 2 more. 2 more? Yeah. I knew I was close to the end. I wasn't counting. I just kind of had like a feeling, you know? You just... sometimes you get that feeling with builds. Like, you're surely close to the end, right? Anyway, you should have this. And you see they, I think, line up perfectly, do they? Yeah, they line up. Oh yeah, because they do there, duh. You then can do the same thing where you take the end warped plank and extend it back by 1. Connect it down with smooth quartz and then fill in everything to the left with more smooth quartz. And yeah. Just leave you with a bunch of arches. And then, I don't really know what we'll do after that, actually. We'll finish these, and then we'll start screwing with the yellow, and then probably do the roofs of the ones in front of us. Those are annoying. I hated doing those. Might have been my least favorite part of the build, I'm not gonna lie. But also because there's a million of them, and it's just tediously filling in certain parts and leaving others open, pretty much. Anyway, you should have this. That is such a weird look with it being perfectly cut off like that. Anyway, off the black concrete, you're going to place a series of warp stairs that all kind of face towards the center to create a... basically a border, but leave the center open. So on the bottom, off the bottom right black concrete, you'll place a warp stair facing left. Bottom left, a warp stair facing right. Top left, an upside down stair facing right. And top right, an upside down stair facing left. Just like this. You gotta do this like a million times. My favorite. Not actually. You'll find a lot of the things in this build aren't my favorite, but I think the final result is worth it, honestly. This... I think single-handedly takes the cake for the best looking thing I've made. I think I can say that without being too cocky about it, you know? Anyway, you should end up with this. Now, as for these, they all go back to pretty much the same point. Some of them get cut off, but they don't get cut off to where we should be concerned about it right now. So, we can do both of these at the same time. Every single peak, both on the red and white, you're going to extend the roofs of them back by 3. Now, where you have warp planks or whatever already, you obviously just want to go back by 2. But yeah, there's a lot of filling. And some you won't be able to. Kind of note which ones they are, but don't really care too hard. Like you see here, this plank, I see I can only bring it back by 2, and then there's a gray concrete in my way. So just keep that in mind, but don't be too disheveled by it, or don't just, you know, pull out the TNT, start blowing it all up, because it is how it's supposed to be. I mean, not technically, but it's part of the way I had to design this because of the roofs. And yeah, you see, like here, I would recommend actually placing those gray concretes if you can remember where they are. And they should be just these bottom 2 plank rows, I think. Obviously, it's not entirely mandatory that you do that, but I do like myself some consistency, so I am going to do it myself. And yeah, actually, we're almost done this row. Nice. Keep getting thrown off that I need to only go 1 back from the warped, and I'm not really sure why, like the original warped. I don't know what is causing me to think that in my brain, but hardwired myself to be incorrect. And this final one, you are just gonna kind of bring it back, I guess. I don't really know. Is that final one just like not? Okay, yeah, no, never mind. That makes sense. Okay. And then the course ones here. And same thing with the final one here, actually. You don't really want to put anything on it. You just want to bring it back. I'll explain that more in a second. For those of you who also are probably skipping, because they don't want to hear me ramble. Okay. Okay, part 2. What, I block picked it, I swear. I'm being scammed by video game. Wouldn't be the first time, honestly. Okay. Still wouldn't be the first time. Although that wasn't the game, that was me. Yeah, what is the big thing I want to record after this? I don't know, that's a good question. I'm kind of recording this now because I'm like, this could potentially be an in-between segment, although based on the fact there were 2 parts in and we're not even close to having a portion of this thing done, I don't really expect that. I don't expect it to be a between segment for chapter 2. Would have been nice, but you know, you win some and you lose some, I guess. Anyway, you should have this. So to more so reiterate what I was talking about a second ago, the furthest left roofs you're not really worrying about here because, well, I'll worry about it in a second. I'll explain it on the front or on like the red because we can't do it on the courts yet. But yeah, and where you have like gray concretes on the roofs with the glass, just kind of leave them there. And I'd probably replicate them on all the other ones just for the consistency. So anyway, on this furthest voice crack, on this furthest left red concrete roof, you want to bring this kind of, the roof going left of it, you want to kind of just bring these slabs and planks over, and they should connect into the peak like so. And you can kind of, I mean, you can't really do anything with this one yet. This one ends up being further back, so we're just going to kind of have to ignore it for now. But yeah, with this red one, it'll just go back with warped, essentially. Like this top warp will end up being brought back, and then, you know, the planks can be over here and whatever. You can actually mark this if you want. It'll end up being, the warp plank will go all the way back to, I believe, there, right? Yeah, it'll go all the way back to where the final smooth quartz just to your right here. And you can actually bring this warp plank across. I won't fill this in yet, but it's nice to have this marked. And yeah, you have a giant rectangle. So, some of the peaks have gray glass in them already, which is cool. That's great. So, what you want to do with those ones specifically, we can start with those, is you want to kind of just bring the rows that aren't going to be covering the glass back. Whatever slabs and plank rows. And on specifically the red concrete, when you do this row warp slabs, does it get brought? No, it doesn't. So, like, when you do this essentially here, you'll be able to see, or you can kind of just bring the smooth quartz down, honestly. Like, there's not really much to try to describe about it. Just bring the smooth quartz down and fill in whatever you need. And for the peaks that don't have it, you can still bring the smooth quartz down if you want to. I might wait on it, because I think it'll be easier to mark them as we get the other roofs in. Or what you can just do instead is you can take the bottom smooth quartz, which I think is there. It'll be the second gray down, yeah. And I'm just literally going to bring this over, connect it up, and I'm just going to fill this in here because there's nothing on the inside anyway that I'm going to be obstructing. So, like, I might as well just fill it all in. But yeah, it should look like this. And again, I just have to finish bringing these back. And yeah. And I'll bring this row, or I guess this row warped here. And I should probably bring this warped as well, actually. It should look like this. Now, depending on how you, or how I did the tutorial, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I should have told you to bring this gray concrete up to the corner. You see I have rows here. If you do have rows like around, just fill them in with gray. You could alternatively make this red, but then you see it from the inside. And on this particular point, I actually prioritize the inside because you don't really see this from the outside anyway all that much, but you just kind of want to make sure that all these gaps are filled in. And yeah. I will do the same for the smooth quartz. Now, I'm not going to go further than the glass or anything. I'm just going to stop in line with the final glass. I know the gray goes further, and yeah, I'll just kind of fill in the gray as I do this. But the castle section behind this will get a little bit in the way, so I don't really see the point in filling further for right now. I can tell you which ones probably get filled further, or we can just wait until that's in. That's also an option. Huh, that's funny. I'll talk about that later if I remember. It's not important enough for me to need to actually talk about it. I realized that I left something, like, in that I shouldn't have. Anyway, you should end up with this. Now, how the gray glass is, you can look at it and kind of just copy it. You want to do the same thing on the rest of the arches with black concrete instead. So if I look at this one, I'm going to see it's 1, 2, 1, 1. So I'm going to bring this row of warp planks back along with the row of warp slabs to the same portion, or same point, and then I'll go just kind of place a black concrete down diagonally in between the warped. And then again, I'll look over and I'll see, okay, I go down diagonally left, and then just down diagonally left by 2. And the black concrete will be brought back to the same point, and again, you're just doing a whole lot of this. And this will take a hot minute, I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to avoid time-lapsing, though. And if you have gray concrete like here that you need to fill in, just go for it. I might need a 4th row, do I? No, because the black is here. Eventually, again, you'll definitely start to see the pattern a little bit more, and you'll just kind of not have to really try. You'll kind of just, like, look at it and be like, yeah, okay. And I'm not even going to worry about further than this right now. Like, at all. I'm including this, like, I'll fill up the smooth quartz, whatever. It might be wise on both the right and left to fill up these smooth quartz, or red if you need to, but I don't think you do for the red. And so again, still leave the furthest left peak open on both, which we should have marked off the one. Just be careful with the smooth quartz because we did not mark that one off, and that one is a little bit sneaky. It will definitely catch you if you're not paying attention. The amount of times I've done that in a build is like just been on autopilot mode doing something, and I'm like, okay, so I don't need to do it there because of whatever, and then I end up doing it there still anyway. I have to just break it. Not a huge deal if you do, because I think I actually did on the original before I realized how everything was working, so you can literally just cover it. Like, I probably have at least one shell hiding somewhere. But I don't know. Probably more than one, honestly. I probably, like, did it on every single one on accident. Not actually. Oh, yep, and I'll actually fill the gray on the side of this one. But I don't want to fill any more because the gray is useful and nothing else is. And then for these guys, it's just to the quartz, which is nice. That prevents us from having to do anything with the gray on the far side, for now. We will at some points on the quartz, and I know we will on the yellow, because I remember doing it, like, non-stop at one point. And you can only assume that that's what it was, right? Yeah, but what do I know? I guess I know the fact that I made this build. It's probably all you need, right? A little bit of confirmation. I made this build twice. That is the funny thing. I've talked about it before. Just like, with things like this, I look at them and I'm like, great, now I gotta build it again. Although I guess, I don't want to say this in like a negative way necessarily, but like the effort does change, obviously because of the texturing. I don't need to go as overkill on it. The point of overkill to begin with is to, you know, for the demonstration. I don't really need to, as long as you guys know how I did it, I don't need to do it the exact same, because again, that would take so long. Like, if I were to texture everything, that would honestly probably alone double the length of this tutorial overall. Just based on the fact that it took me that long to begin with. Anyway. Yeah, so you should end up with this once you're done. Now, we have a couple things we kind of need to touch base on. The furthest left peak, you actually do need to keep bringing this one back. Not the furthest left, but like this one here, essentially the one that sticks past the smooth course. You'll see if you take this warped and just extend it back by, what is it, 5? Yeah, 5. You just want to make sure you have the warp here on the opposite side. And I'm just going to literally look across and just copy the shape. And make sure you have the gray concretes in the same spot. Again, you kind of just look over and see where they are. I know where they are because of, you know, I've built this 15 times. But, yeah, and then I'll bring the gray concrete there back. And, yeah, that'll just kind of help us in a second here. So, from that smooth quartz block row, you want to take this end smooth quartz and go back diagonally left with a yellow terracotta. I'm not giving you a number on this. I refuse to give you a number on this. You want to bring this all the way left until you're on the second to last window on the red concrete, and you're on the last block of it. So if I look forward here, it's going to be, I think, there. And so you see, I'm going to mark this. If I move across this, like kind of walking across the row, I'll see my Z is changing. So the Z here is 9803. And if I go down here and just stand up against this, you see it's 9803, which means that is lined up. And yeah, it goes pretty far. You'll extend that yellow terracotta row up by 2 rows, which should be familiar. And I guess maybe down wherever you need as well. Again, you see over here, like there's this area, you need to bring it down for that one peak. And yeah, I will do that. From the end, I'm going to go back diagonally left, left, and then back diagonally left again. And you see it'll line up with the end of the red there, and that's just good. On top of both sides of the yellow terracotta, you're going to place a warped plank. I'm going to start with just one, though, so I can be a little bit quicker with the explanation of the roof shape. I mean, it should be self-explanatory. You're placing a row of warp slabs on top of that row of planks. And then inside of those slabs, another row of planks. Also, off the original row of warp planks, you're placing a row of warp slabs off the outside. No really extra diagonals or anything again on these corners, just plain old, you know, normal stuff. And that's the roof. It's the same as the other one, just it's not as aggressive. And you'll notice at the right side here when you bring it up, it'll actually line up in line with the like top of the smooth quartz roofs. And yeah, that's good. And you'll kind of have the cyan at the front here that's a little bit annoying, and that's okay. And that's the top, and then I need the bottom row. Nice. On the right side, I'm gonna just kind of like bring the back right corner of this peak to the right with warp planks and just fill in the front here. We'll have to fill in a little bit more later, but I'm gonna worry about that once we do the castle segments, which I don't know if we'll mark out yet. I don't plan on it, but we might in this part. We'll see. On the left side, if you take this top warped plank row, it should be a row of 4. You can extend back by 1, 2, 3, 4 again, and then just bring it left. And kind of just fill in this peak as you would expect. So here I'm going to bring this, like the warp slabs and planks back until this row of planks, because the subs on top, you can bring the ones on the yellow right, and they should connect. And then it's just kind of the same thing where the planks are connecting, and so are the slabs. And I'll have to fill in this little corner with yellow terracotta. Can I get that perchance? Yes, I can. Should look like that. You can also extend that warped plank all the way back until it's on the back gray concrete. And on this side, you can actually extend that back an additional 2 warped, and then go all the way to the left. And you'll end up having to connect forward into this kind of end warp plank. Actually, I'll go with this warp slab here. I'll bring this warp slab back with planks. And I'll just fill in this large space with warp planks at the top. Yeah, I don't think we'll mark out the castle section over here. I think it might just be better to wait for the next part. And then we can do it pretty much in its entirety. Front, back, left, right, whatever. And that'll be the first thing we kind of bring back, and that'll just be helpful for other things, I think, as well. As we start to bring whatever we can back, right? You should have this. As for the front, the red concrete below this, you also probably should fill in the warped here. I'm going to slash fill this. So I'm just going to take the back right. I'll stand here, copy, and I'll go front left, and I'll do warped. I think I can just break this plank, can't I? Yeah, and then stand where it is. And I'll give you a second once I fill these in. So I can get a drink of water and whatever. And I'll actually just bring it, like, these 3 rows here, right? Basically just kind of almost making a perfect, like, cut off at the left there. Which will not really be hugely important. What it will be important for is the next section over there, but that's one of the custom things, so I don't really want to do that yet. Kind of refraining from doing any of the custom-made stuff. Yeah, left, right, and back. Well, right is a little bit based on the actual game. There's a VHS in Chapter 3 at the beginning that talks about it. But a lot on the left and back is kind of just me doing whatever. Anyway, you should have this. So I was going to refrain from doing this until we did the castle spires, but I think it just makes sense to do. Each of the, like, smooth quartz peaks, you can bring the warped back by 2 rows. And again, you want to do the same thing we did for the red. We just kind of want to bring these end 2 rows down on this side. And you want to make sure you have the gray. I mean, the gray isn't necessarily that important, but you know, it is nice to have, and you kind of just want to make sure that these all get brought back. Nothing crazy. But I feel like it just is good to get this out of the way, even though we'll have to destroy a little bit of it. Still, I would rather have it and need to delete it than not, you know? So yeah, it should also end up being in line with the, like, peak on the left, or the roof on the left, rather, that we brought back. It's not a peak, it's just not. But, yeah. And I'll have a whole lot of this. Sometime soon I'll be done. You'll actually have to bring all the gray back here as well. That's kind of annoying. I'll just do it first. Boom, there we go. Oh no, that one should be brought back another row, I guess. And yeah. Honestly, that's not terrible progress overall. I wouldn't leave yet because I don't know if... I think I want to do something else. But I don't want to start anything big, so we'll kind of see. It's all just playing it based on what I feel like doing, honestly. There's no, like, correct order or timing. And I guess I will bring the warp here on the right as well back the 2 rows, because I might as well make it all even. Still. And yeah, you should have this. That's, like, the whole left side honestly done. Yeah, now, the next thing would be the castle spires. I think we can make a little bit of a compromise here, though. Get rid of whatever, just make sure it's not the cyan concrete, because we might need it. And get out red concrete. I want to make the P on the front here. So on the top, You should have, I think you should have enough. Yeah, you'll take the front right-hand side concrete here on this roof, and you want to count left by 2 and back by 1. And going up, you want to place 7 red concrete. You're going to go up diagonally right, right, down diagonally right, down 2, down diagonally left, and then left. And that should give you your giant P. You can make it slanted if you want, but I was like, that's a whole lot of work for something I didn't want to do. We can mark out at least the base of the castle spires, because I just feel like I want to get it out of the way. You want to get out for this brown concrete, yellow concrete, and yellow terracotta. We'll start next part by filling these up, probably. I swear this should be all, but I really do want to get these done a little bit because they're annoying me. So if you take the roof of the section we just made the little P logo for, you want to take this bottom left cyan here, and you want to leave a gap of 2 going left from it and place a brown concrete. Extend this brown concrete forward by 4, and then you'll go left by 7. Then go back 2, and then left with 5 yellow concrete. Then a yellow terracotta, then 9 yellow concrete, yellow terracotta, 9 yellow concrete, yellow terracotta, 5 yellow concrete, brown concrete, extend it forward 2, left by 7, back 2, then left with 5 yellow concrete, then a terracotta, then 9 concrete, terracotta, 9 concrete, terracotta, 5 concrete, then a brown, then extend forward 2, left 7, back 2, and then you'll go left with the same thing, the 5 yellow concrete, terracotta, 9 yellow concrete. Make sure I actually made that 9. Yep, yellow terracotta, 9 yellow concrete, yellow terracotta, and then 5 yellow concrete, then a brown, then go forward 2, left 7, back 7, and then right by 2. I would head back to the right side, and I want to make the same square so we can bring both sides back sort of simultaneously. So you should have a row of 5 here so far, so you'll bring the brown back an additional 3, and then left by 2. One thing I want to talk about quickly, the Make-A-Friend room there, you see that window is kind of just chilling there? Yeah. Presumably Make-A-Friend would be rotated 90 degrees, and then it would, I guess, still not make sense because of how thin it is. But either way, I just blacked off that side. The other side goes outside now, sorry. I'm dying over here. But yeah, the other side does end up going to the great outdoors. So yeah, if you really want to do that. On both sides, you want to take this innermost brown concrete and extend it back with 5 yellow concrete. Then a yellow terracotta. Then 9 yellow concrete. Still gonna make sure I did that right, yeah. Yellow terracotta. 5 yellow concrete. Then a brown concrete. Then you're gonna go out to back 7. In by 7. Then forward 2, and you'll end there. And then you should probably know what's next. So it's the same as what we just did on the front, just there's only 1 row of 9 rather than 2. And then I'll go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'll go in with the 2 brown. You can alternatively just place rows of 8 brown concrete rather than making them actually extrude right now. It doesn't really matter though either way. So if you take this again, I guess frontmost brown, you'll go in from either side with 5 yellow concrete, terracotta, and then again, you should know the drill. It's 9 yellow concrete, terracotta, 9 yellow concrete, yellow terracotta, 5 yellow concrete, and then it'll be the brown there. And I'm gonna go in from both sides at the same time, just because I'm cool like that. But you can also trace forward and check. It might be smart once we do the actual walls to... Sorry, I just had to, like, brain process that. To, copy them all at once. Or, like, copy one side and then paste it to the other. Because that's better than having to fill the whole thing manually. Alternatively, what I end up doing is bringing up the terracottas and then just filling the concrete. Yellow concrete from there. And then, you know, the brown concrete pillars I can do with commands. I'll explain that later. But yeah, that's the shape of it. And you do see kind of the... Like, it almost cuts off the windows in the middle. I thought about shortening it, but it would be so short at that point. Or you could also make it longer and then, like, hollow out the center at the top and go from there. But then you'd have to push back smokestacks, and it would just create a whole big thing. So, yeah, I didn't really worry too much. The only other thing I want to do before we end, it is still involving these, it's not different, I swear, is the yellow concretes and terracottas here at the front where you have the quartz arches, you want to just bring down. And the yellow concrete and yellow terracotta will be easier because you don't have anything in your way. But for the brown concrete pillars, if you need, you can break the warped, and you'll probably have to. But I want to get this filled in because it'll be nice to have that done. And you see here, I'm going to actually go to the front side, and I'll just see, okay, yeah, here I want to break the warped. I'm going to leave the gray concrete. I don't want to touch the gray concrete here. Because I just don't. And I'll actually do the same, or use the same thing on the front here as I bring this down. I'm just going to stop where the gray concrete is, because the gray concrete is what is holding it up, basically, single-handedly. That's the only brown pillar, though, so it's fine. But, yeah, it's kind of weird, because you obviously can't see that there's anything outside from there, but I would assume that that would just be because that they wouldn't want to model all of that, you know? That's a lot of work. But yeah, so next part we'll be doing those. That section might literally take a part of its own, I'm not gonna lie, that takes forever, depending on how we do it. And then I think after that, we can start working on the right, finally, because we're so one-sided right now. But anyway, once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is part 2 of the new Playtime co-exterior complete. Thank you guys for watching this. If you guys did enjoy this video, I'm gonna put my estimate right now at 17 parts. It's so specific, but, you know, 17 is a good number. But either way, yeah, with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.